So did you say Nikon Z6 Mark III? Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thomas Love here from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, and today we're talking about these new rumors that leaked about the specs of the Nikon Z6 Mark III that we are all waiting to be announced and then released. But are you waiting for that camera to be announced and released, or are you looking into purchasing something else instead while you wait? Let's see together what the specs are and if it is worth waiting for that new camera. Of course, if you ask me, I'm a Nikon fanboy, so I would say yes, of course, that would be a great camera. But why am I assuming that it would be a great camera, and why I did not wait for it, but I purchased my Lumix, which I'm using right now to record this episode, instead? Let's see things step by step. So the very new leaked rumors are talking about a 24.5 megapixel sensor, but faster, improved, with a better AF and a better in-body stabilization versus the ZF, the Z8 and the Z9. So if you think about the Nikon body offering as we speak right now, we have available regarding full frame sensors the Z9, the Z8 and the ZF. The first two have a higher megapixel count and the better performances because they are stacked, because they have bigger bodies, less heat, better heat dissipation, and many other things. But then everything is condensed into the ZF. So the way I see it is that if the Nikon Z8 would eat the ZF, then they will be grow enough to be a Z9. But apart from these jokes, guys, we're talking about 2024 camera specs. So whatever you go out and buy today, that would be a great camera body. Whatever brand, Panasonic, Nikon, Sony, Canon, whatever brand you pick up, if it's a contemporary camera, that would be more than enough for what we are doing. And when I say we, I intend prosumers and professionals, because if you are looking into full frame, that means that at least photography pays back something. Maybe not the whole rent, maybe not everything, but it pays back something to you in terms of money or in terms of rewards. And so if you are looking into a full frame camera, this Nikon Z6 Mark III might be the trade union in between the ZF and the Z8, because having all the physical performances that come from the two big sisters Z8 and Z9 condensed into a smaller body and with a smaller, lower megapixel count such as the ZF, that might be the perfect mix of the two worlds, meaning that with 24.5 megapixel it will have ideally better low light performances compared to the big sisters, but it will also be faster than the ZF because it inherited from Z8 and Z9 the physical specs. And so the XC7 processor, better AF, better stab into a smaller body with lower megapixel count, that might be also leading to faster, so more frames per second when you're shooting still. Now think about the Olympics, because this year camera companies will release the camera for the Olympics. This might be it. And so with a great stab, with all the plethora of Nikon Z-mount glasses, original Nikon glasses or third parties available, that might be worth it. So the only other question we have is, what would be the price? If you think that here in Canada Nikon ZF you can find it for as low as 2,700, brand new of course, this Nikon Z6 Mark III might be more towards 3,000, 3,200, 3,500, not that much more, because otherwise we come into Z8 territory. And so it might be positioned right in between these two worlds for when it comes down to specs and prices. But in between there are so many alternatives. There is the Sony A7 IV, the Sony A7C Mark II, the Lumix S5 Mark II X, which I'm using right now, and its sister, which is the S5 Mark II Non-X, which is even cheaper. And so it needs to be appealing. Apart from being Nikon, and that's enough for me to be appealing, apart from being Nikon with the reliability, with the warranties, with everything you can get out of it, where is this plus for this camera? That would be ideally more towards stills photography rather than the hybrid, because if you have a look at the video specs for the Nikon Z6 Mark III, at least the specs that leaked so far, nothing is confirmed, so we can be completely wrong. Keep that in mind, please take everything with a grain of salt. But if you look into the specs for video, it's a 4K 60p, and so it's nothing special, right? The Sony A7S III had 4K 120, and so is this 4K 60 crop or not? Is the 4K 120 available or not? FHD 120, 4K 60p, 6K 60, 6K 30. Is it open gate, not open gate? We will see. But assuming this will be more positioned towards the stills and less the hybrid of a camera, anyway, these recording specs would be more than enough unless you are doing wildlife videography. So you might want to have your 800mm Nikon Z-mount glass with eventually also teleconverter, and you need a great stable unless you're using a tripod, and then you will need 120, 240 frames per second in your 4K recording. But if you don't need that, then this camera is really what you are looking for. So please let me know down here in the comment if you are waiting for it to be announced and released, and we are looking into a 6 months time frame, because by the time it is officially announced, and then remember that anytime Nikon released a new camera, it went sold out for weeks, if not for months. It was the case for the Z9, for the Z8, for the ZF, because they are a great value for money, and because everybody want Nikon cameras, everybody than me, because I went with the Lumix, because I was also spoiled with the Leica glasses that I could not resist and switch back to Nikon. But this is a different story. So let me know down here in the comment, what is your story? Are you waiting for it? Are you waiting to upgrade your camera? Is this gonna be your very first full frame, or at what point in time you are considering it? And if you had any value out of this video, please remember to like it, share it on your social media, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any videos to come, and I guess I will see you later. Thank you. Bye bye.